Good afternoon, everybody. And Robin and Mark here joining me today. And we are having our second monthly update, which we are looking forward to jumping into. We're going to wait a few minutes just whilst we're waiting. Sorry, just for a second, whilst we give everyone a chance to catch up and to join us. Sorry, I got scared there by the actual live stream showing up on my computer. But today we've got a very good update. I think we've got a lot to talk about. And we're going to be jumping into this in a moment. We'll also be taking any questions. Or if you've just joined us. Is my microphone still working? Sorry, I just had an update that said it's gone on mute.
No,
It's working.
It works.
I can hear you, yes. No problem.
Fantastic. Sorry. Well, there you go. See, technical issues that happen every now and again. So please, if you are just joining us, leave any questions in the chat here on YouTube or alternatively in our Discord. We will try and go through everything. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, thank you so much for taking the time. Please, again, join us in Discord and you can ask any questions live to the team. Or alternatively, if you leave any comments on this video, we will do our best to reply to everyone as well. So without further ado, I guess we should get started. And we do have quite a lot to talk about today. So we're going to start today, Robin, by talking a little bit about the fact that we're closing off what we're calling season one. And I think this was a really good opportunity for you to give everyone a little bit of an update around this and why we're actually taking that next step.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we started basically bringing our Mantis platform live. Actually, I checked it out in May last year. So it's been a while, to be honest. So like close to 1 year now. And yeah, lots of people have used the platform. Lots of data was uploaded. Lots of annotations, verifications have been made. So we're very thankful for that. We also launched our liquidity pool on Ocean Protocol version 3. So that's also live at the moment. But yeah, it's now been a while with all of this. And yeah, we are taking the next steps. So like we always expected that we could switch this liquidity pool to computer data because it's actually how we want to offer the data. This is not possible. Now version 4 is coming out, so then we can transform from version 3 to version 4 pool. So then we'll have the opportunity to also make a pool on Polygon. So there we have much lower transaction fees. So then we can also pay out rewards. And yeah, that's one of the points. So like this is what we are also looking forward to do this and at the end of the season one. So basically we now track everything. So like we track who was in our pool for how long, who provided how much liquidity, who was buying tokens and everything. On the other hand, also then who has provided data, who has worked with our platform, who worked with our product. We have all of this recorded. So like we took a snapshot of this. And basically now we're taking this into regard for rewards that we want to bring out in the future. So like there will be multiple things. We have thought about a lot of great gimmicks that we think will be awesome for everyone who was involved, to come back and see how things are developing. And on the other hand, we also want to launch season 2. So like then making it possible, people can upload a lot of data, so like via an API. So they will work on a documentation, then at some point also annotating with algorithms inside the DataUnion dataset to add something to the data that exists, not by hand anymore, but then with algorithms. So, but this also makes a lot of difference, towards a single user uploading one image, like these are different kind of scales of data coming in. And so like it's from our point of view also an important step to say, okay, season 1 was like this, season 2 is different. So it's an important step to take. And we didn't have any rewards immediately in season 1. Okay, now we freeze things and we repay them retroactively. But yeah, in season 2, this will then not be the case anymore. So like there we will have a pool on Polygon, so people then can claim the rewards directly. And for us, yeah, this marks a large step forward in all our development. So like we've been working for this for a long time. At the moment, we're still waiting for Ocean. I just saw a news announcement that the testnet version of V4 is now online. So we're also, of course, going to test with that. And when it then becomes live on all networks, we will then use it actively. Yeah, so that's basically the major step. Did I miss anything?
I think you've covered a lot of things there, Robin, actually. And I think that makes it a little bit more challenging for me now. Really sorry. It seems like my microphone just keeps going on to mute for no apparent reason whilst I'm doing this. So I'll keep an eye on that. We are actually in a very good position right now as well in terms of closing off season 1 and starting season 2, because it's also kind of marking a moment where we are now closing off our seed round. And I think maybe, Mark, you'd be able to talk a little bit about this and in terms of how that's affecting the whole ecosystem and what we're actually in the process of doing. Would you be able to give everyone a little bit of an update of what's happened in the last month?
Yeah, I think as Robin said, we started with a project grant funded, which was a great journey, and we could test and develop a lot, and that enabled us to attract investors for the seed round. They see the potential not only for the one union, the Planet Computer Vision that we're working on, that we're using as a prototype and pilot, but also to enable the whole ecosystem. And with the seed money, we're very grateful that we could onboard a lot of other unions and projects and people that are excited about the DataUnion model, but also the technology that we can bridge between Ocean and, for instance, the Web 2. So the seed round and closing that out with this season really enables us to enter the next season and deepen the ecosystem work. And happy to tell more about that in a bit later.
Sounds good. And I know we do have lots of projects going on currently, and we are working on various different unions at the same time. And I think actually this brings us back to a really good point. And from Robin, your point of view, obviously the team has continued to grow. Closing out the seed round is obviously helping us to be able to grow that team, especially on the developer side. Can you talk a little bit about how we're actually positioned at the moment in terms of the team, the numbers, and the kind of breakdown of what people are currently focused on?
Yeah, so we actually have many different areas. So like we have a dedicated smart contract developer right now. We have 4 people working on mobile apps, so like for various other projects and also for ourselves. Then we have a team of front-end engineers, which is actively working on our new data portal. So that's like an updated or like an enhanced version of an Ocean marketplace, which also offers the functionality to get data out. And then we also have, I think, it's 4 backend engineers. If I'm not wrong, in total, we have 15 people right now. One UI UX developer who actually is also working with projects with new data unions right now to make prototypes for them and so on. So like, yeah, it's becoming more and more of a factory for data unions. And we have now security for funding, like with our seed round. So that's actually really good.
That does give a huge boost to everyone's morale and having that security, I think, as you mentioned there. And I do think as well, this brings in really nicely because we are doing things a little bit differently to, I'd say, a lot of organizations. And we are in the process of shifting, but I'll talk a little bit more from the marketing point of view a bit later on. But we genuinely believe in the idea of bringing our community into parts of what we're actually doing as an organization. And I'm wondering, Mark, as well, if you can talk a little bit about what we do every Friday morning in terms of our governance call, where we bring in certain key partners to get their input and what we're actually trying to achieve. So could you talk a little bit more about what we do?
Yeah, I think happy to do so. And I think, as just mentioned, the next season is about the ecosystem. And we're very happy that we found other projects, unions who join us. And once they join our journey, that typically starts with a partnering agreement. Then we want to explore that. Some come from total different backgrounds. Some are traditional companies in the sensor field who want to innovate there and explore the blockchain space. Others come from the blockchain space, but want to leverage the decentralization and team up among each other with the crowd and like the value share approach. So everybody comes from a different angle, but they all share the same interest in developing the ecosystem, develop it further, learn from each other. And for that, we have set up a regular call. We call it the stewards of each union, who are all running, incubating, curating their own unions, but also shaping the overall ecosystem. And it's a great sounding board. It's a great way to team up in smaller groups for working groups around topics, for instance, data ethics, We see others, the business models that you can have around data and the data economy, but also how to onboard people or organizations who are not so familiar with the Web3. So a great start, and for the next season, also a good base to build further our community and dialogue there.
Absolutely, and it has been some fascinating conversations, I'd say, in some of those calls, trying to understand, like you've just mentioned there, this transition for Web 2 to Web 3, but also the understanding of what that Web 3 really looks like and is for these companies that are maybe more traditionally minded, and trying to find ways to bridge that gap, right? To use some of the maybe the systems or the technologies or even the infrastructures that are already in place and that are known to them to help them understand what that next phase might look like. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much we continue to build on that journey, because it's definitely never a dull moment. I guess I'm going to give a little bit of an update in terms of who I am and why I'm here, because if anyone watched the first live update last month, I was in fact here and I was working with Robin and Mark, but it's official now. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Robin and Mark for choosing me, but I am now here and part of the project as the Chief Marketing Officer. So I'm going to be helping to drive a slightly new approach, but something that's not new to these guys and very much what's built in at the very heart of this project, which is what we're trying to call now build with the public. So it's all well and good. Web 2 took that kind of idea of building in public to kind of showcase what they were doing. We're actually trying to take that a step further, and we're really looking forward to finding new ways to collaborate with the audience, the community, the projects that we're working with, to really find a way to build something that works for them, with them, so that we understand what it is that we're actually trying to build. So we're going to have some really cool marketing 3, as we're calling it now, approaches to this. So we'll be looking at a lot of collaborative content that you guys may have already seen, but if you haven't, we'll make sure there's a link to the Nature Union's collaborative board where you can leave comments, feedback, but you can also experience a little bit more of our thought process as you go through that content rather than just reading a blog. So we're hoping you're liking that, that you will like that, sorry. And I also hope that we'll be able to do more events live with you guys as the community, where we can actually capture more of your thoughts and feedback in terms of where you see data unions going. And in particular, whether it be for the Nature Union or for Planet Computer Vision, we'll be running various different events over the coming months. So keep your eyes out and keep peeled for that. But in the meantime, if you want to say hello to me, or if you need to find me for anything to do with marketing, I'm always in the Discord channel, so please feel free to reach out. You'll find me there. We're going to come back to Robin now, because obviously with all good things tech, we always end up throwing it back to Robin. Robin, can we have a little bit of an update in terms of Planet Computer Vision, which is our first proof of concept union? This is what we built most of season 1 on. And I think it'd be great for everyone to just get a little bit of a feel and understanding of where we're at currently with that and what people can look forward to as we start approaching season 2.
Yeah, so I actually went ahead and told some things earlier than expected. But yeah, let me bring it together in a more structured way. So like in the backend, we have made some really big steps forward. So this is very important for us. Like we have APIs which are now getting documented. So we will also have a public documentation portal with examples. So like how can you write a script, to interact with the API? What can you do with that? And how could you, for example, then add such an API call into a Docker container, that you then can run on our platform. So that's a very important part. This comes then into play with our data portal. So there we're now running weekly internal alpha tests, the same also for our mobile app. So where we then check out where are we right now, what are the final details that we have to figure out, what do we have to fix to publish that, and then we will run an alpha phase. So like that's also where we connect a bit to the people that were in season 1 already. So we probably want to get them on board to help us with there. And with the mobile app, we also running these tests, but there it looks very good that we are going to be able to publish them sooner rather than later. And again, here we are going to then do some alpha testing groups to get feedback from the community and also then other entities that we have gotten to know over season 1. So that there are many companies that do annotation business, for example, that want to help us out to check out how this app and everything works, and machine learning companies that want to know how the data portal then would work for them to actually use it. And we will use this feedback for a little while to see that everything is all right. Because like seed money is there, so we have some time You don't have to go for the grant every month, and publish the results as soon as possible. We can take some time to make them very well. Yeah, so basically everything is firing at full cylinders. We also created a value share community smart contract on top of Ocean. So that's also something that we're perfecting right now. And then we basically have everything in place to really make an awesome combination of products that we can then release. And then basically that's going to be the season 2 software stack, something completely new, where we then can experience, how we can use it, bring on customers, partners, and then adapt them, all of this, to the new unions in the ecosystem.
And obviously, as part of this season 2, there will be new bounties and missions for people to get involved with. And this is also going to form part of the alpha testing for the brand new mobile app, which will be coming hopefully very, very soon. I won't put a date to that, not whilst we're in public on video, but I do think that there's a lot that's coming up on this. So really quickly for people, what sort of things can they expect in terms of these missions, Robin, and how will they be able to get more involved with DataUnion, and more in particular with actual missions that we're trying to do?
So, I mean, on the data portal, you can order, basically now you can order like data for Planet Computer Vision. You can ask, hey, I need these images. You explain to the crowd, hey, what do you want? Give some examples. Or the same for verification and annotations, and also at some point then enhancement of algorithms. And that's going to be translated then into smaller tasks inside the mobile app that you can then select and work on. And they're also going to give you some experience. So like we also have a little bit of a gamification, which we're going to expand upon. But basically you select your mission, you work on that, you do your part. It then goes back into the process, back to the person that ordered it, and they're going to check it out. And if they're satisfied with your contributions, then you are getting the reward. Like this is now a little bit different than the open system that we had before. And we think that this is also very helpful because we can then also connect the different parts. Like if somebody wants to have data collected, annotated, and verified, we can spawn the missions accordingly and then make sure we have basically a working pipeline. So we're kind of creating a decentralized data factory right now with everybody who's using the mobile app as a participant. So I think that's very exciting. I think it's a novel thing to have something like this. And yeah, we're looking forward to present it to you, all of you, and have you as participants.
Well, I think this actually brings us into one of the questions that we did have in Discord, and we did actually answer this at the time when it came out in Discord, but let's just bring it back up here as well. So for anyone who is watching this and who did take part in season 1, Robin, are all the rewards from season 1 still in place?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have a snapshot. We know who provided what. So like you guys use wallets. I mean, we force you to do so. And especially Jules, I mean, he's like our rock star, and he went through all the images and verified every tag. So like, I mean, I will never forget him. So of course, Jules, your rewards are safe. And I mean, of course, we are very thankful. So like, let's see, like we will not forget that you did this. Like it's basically on chain in our mind, So like, we will make sure that this is that this is remembered, by everyone, and that it's something to show for your and contributions and for your enthusiasm. And yeah, we are really, really thankful for everyone who did contribute and participate, because I mean, without you guys, we would not be here. So like, it would have been impossible to take the steps through Outlier Ventures program or wherever we are right now. It's all because of you guys. So like, yeah, thank you so much.
I think that's said it very well. Mark, is there anything that you'd like to add before we look to wrap up? And again, if you are watching this live, please do feel free to leave a comment or a question, and we will try and answer everything as well. But Mark, anything in particular that you'd like to add to what Robin just said?
No, yeah. I think I just want to pick the point you had about developing with the public. And since unions are all about collaboration, so it has the data part, so there's a lot of technology and the data handling in there, but there's also the union part. And that I think is a key piece of developing that together. Unions are about collaboration, and what Robin illustrated here with Jules and the early contributors, that's the base to it. And in season 2, we want to expand that, not only with the contributors, but also with stewards or incubators who want to launch new unions. So that is really taking a new step in the next season.
Fantastic. And again, that's a really nice open invitation to anybody. If you are coming across this video, if you're interested in finding out more about what we do, we would love to have a conversation. We want to try and organize as many events as we can coming up to be able to allow people to get involved, but also one-to-one, reach out to us, join us in the Discord, wherever it is that you'd like to communicate or wherever it is that you'd like to find us. We're usually pretty much active everywhere, but it'd be great to have that conversation. Like Mark said, we actually recognize, I think, that we can't do this alone. Otherwise, the whole thing wouldn't work. But actually, the idea of collaborating with like-minded people that want to find the right answers to the problems that we're trying to solve and to the future of what this data ecosystem could look like, I think that's going to be a huge opportunity for everyone who gets involved at this stage to be able to help shape that. And I think that really plays to what Mark and Robin genuinely feel and believe for the company, but also what we're trying to do now with all the aspects of the marketing and various different things that we'll be moving forward with over the coming months, and especially with season 2 and the alpha test. Should I put Robin on the spot and ask, when can we expect to see the alpha? No, I won't do that today. That's not fair. But we will have an update very soon, I hope, about the alpha test.
Mike, I can tell you, we will release it when it's finished. Like when it's done, like, so I love this about Blizzard Entertainment. They always said the games will be released when they're finished, not because somebody forces them to. So I want to go with this philosophy, to not have then a lot of disappointments just because we had a date set and we wanted to not violate it. So I'm really all in favor to take the time to do the things more properly. It will of course never be finished because we are like extending everything and making it better. Of course, this is always the case, but I mean that we are satisfied with it, like that we don't push it out just because we have to, but that we push it out because we think it's something that's cool to use and will bring fun and a lot of experiences to the people.
Well, there you have it, everybody. We now know that we'll see it as soon as Robin is happy with it, more importantly, and when it's good and a value proposition for everyone in our community to be able to get involved and to use that. I think we're going to actually wrap up, guys. I know that, Mark, thank you so much for putting the extra effort in today, because I know that you're not feeling well. And Robin, thank you as well for joining us. And let's continue these. We're really looking forward to seeing what we can continue to do with our community. If you'd like to get in touch, remember that you can leave comments here, or you can find us in our Discord, and you will find a link down below. And in the meantime, thank you so much to everyone for their contributions, for getting involved, for being part of the community so far. I think on behalf of all three of us, it's been a fantastic ride and a journey so far, but we're looking forward to seeing the next steps that we can take with all of you as part of this journey. So thank you once again. And unless there's anything from the guys, I think we'll call that a day.
Thanks, Chris. And we're very happy that you're with us. So looking forward to all our events and exchanges further with you and with the broad community.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I also think that's one of the highlights of season 2. We have Chris now. One of the important things.
I've never been called a highlight of a season, so I feel very privileged. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you to everyone. We'll see you all very soon.
Great. Take care.